All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome in. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, and it is our final debate that we have been doing as we get ready for the May 5th election. And today, pleased to be joined by the three candidates in Bradley County Board of Education in the 4th District. And we are joined today, and I'll go ahead and give the order they're going to be speaking in a second, their openings. We have Sandra Benson. We have Ashlan Morelock, and we have Troy Weathers. And all three of you, thank you all for coming in. And thank you for offering yourself for public service. It's a big deal, and not only you three, but your families and all of our candidates. We've got a big election, as you know. Thanks so much, the Lynn Jones Foundation. They are sponsoring our debates. As I said, this is our final in-studio debate. Well, we did a drawing prior. I'm going to remind you of our format here. They'll have 2 minutes for opening statements, 2 minutes to respond to the questions, and then 2 minutes for a closing statement. We'll go this hour, and thank you for joining us wherever you are. So by that draw, Sandra Benson has drawn first, and you're going to open us. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve, candidates in Bradley County. I'm here from a genuine desire to serve my community. Although my background is nursing and education, I can truly say my passion became education. Children of all ages in public schools deserve the best that our county can offer them. This can only be achieved by partnering with parents, teachers, and administration. We must wisely use the limited resources available, work within guidelines given by the state to improve classroom education. I will not back down from individual hard work. While serving as a nurse in industrial settings, I have served on safety committees. I've worked with management personnel from various backgrounds. I have worked within OSHA frameworks for industry and have educated students from high school age to nursing students. People in the community have voiced their concerns to me about fiscal responsibility on the school board. I commit to honesty and integrity where this is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra. All right, now we have Ashlan Morelock. Ashlan?
Thanks, Steve. Excuse me, the pollen is wild. I am Ashlan Morelock, and I'm running for the Bradley County School Board seat, the open seat in District 4, because I care about strong public schools, and I believe this job needs steady and practical leadership that's focused on students. I am a lifelong Clevelander, and I've been happily married to my husband, Davis, for almost 18 years, and we have 2 children. I have spent years serving our community in roles that require listening, accountability, and follow-through. Here lately, I've spent a lot of time with talking with friends and neighbors in the District 4, and what I've been hearing is pretty consistent. Families want safe schools, strong basics, teachers who feel supported, and communication that is clear and respectful. I am not running to make our classrooms political. I'm running to ask good questions, and I'll work well with others, and I will make decisions that are transparent, data-driven, and focused on students. I will lead with integrity and a strong moral compass. Thanks again for hosting this type of debate, Steve. This is my 4th time and my opponent's 2nd time to participate in a forum or debate this campaign season, and I'm happy to have another opportunity to be transparent. To my friends and neighbors in the 4th District, I appreciate the chance to earn your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashlan. Now, Troy Weathers. Troy?
Well, thank you, Steve. And Steve, thanks for having this. I always exciting to be able to come and see you, and Bridget especially. Let me first say I'm Troy Weathers, and I am running for the 4th District School Board. Steve, I've probably said that several times in my career. As you know, I've been on the school board for 20 years. I was on the school board for 20 years, stepped down for the last 4, and I'm running to be back on the school board. So why am I running? I think education is very important. My record speaks for itself of what we've accomplished in the last 25 years in Bradley County. When I first came on the school board many years ago, we had a dropout rate of 28%. Today, we have a dropout rate of almost a possibility of 2%, which is unbelievable. But we do a great job, and when I say we, it takes a team to do what we do in education. We got great teachers. The first thing you got to have is great teachers. Second thing you got to have is good administrators. And Bradley County Schools, I believe, have got the best in the state, and we have for a very long time. We've had good leadership, and the school board, we don't hire personnel. We hire directors of schools. And let me just tell you, that's critical for us to be able to have success. And we've been very successful because of a guy named Bob Taylor, a guy named Mr. McDaniel, and a lady named Dr. Cash has made a huge difference with the leadership where we're headed. I look forward to working back on the school board. I appreciate your vote and your support, and I promise you I will do what I've done in the past. Did what's right for students, what's right for families, and what's right for our teachers. Thank you.
All right, thank again all three of you for doing this and being here today. I want to begin with the questions. I want to start with Ashlan Morelock, and then we'll work our way back through here. Again, these candidates for the Bradley County Board of Education in the 4th District. So the question is, for all three of you, how would you prioritize the district's capital needs, such as building maintenance, new construction, without placing an undue burden on the taxpayers? You have 2 minutes.
Thanks, Steve. That's a great question. I was asked something similar Monday night at the Chambers Forum. I think we have to use data to make decisions like that. When you're looking at growth, you have to look at the schools individually. Overcrowding is an issue in schools, and I wouldn't support building a brand new school with our taxpayer dollars unless the data proved that. So growth can shift by zone or grade level, and the overcrowding can still happen, but we have to look at those schools individually, the building sizes, the capacity, class sizes, the demographics in the area, and the facility conditions. So renovations and smart upgrades are usually more cost effective than a new build, but I would support a new build, but only when the numbers show that we actually need it.
Okay, Ashlan, thank you. I want to go to Troy Weathers now. Troy, again, the question, how would you prioritize the district's capital needs, such as building, maintenance, and new construction, without placing an undue burden on taxpayers?
Well, let me first tell you that in the process of building a new school, we're talking about, if we decide today we're going to build a new school, we're talking about 3 years down the road, or 4, because the fact that when you have to prove it, as board members, our responsibility is to prove we need it. Okay, we can look at data all day long, but let me tell you where your data is at is what's in that classroom. If you've got too many kids at a school, then we've got to do something. And we all know our growth is moving to the north. The thing you've got to look at, which is also critical, is we can't just continue to expand elementary schools or build onto them, what I'm talking about. Because of the fact, the problem we've had in the past is we've expanded it, but we did not increase the size of the gym, the cafeteria, and the library, and all those items that we need to support large numbers. Building a new school is very difficult. As I have been on the school board when we built a new Waterville, we built the new Parkview, we built Walker Valley, and then lots of renovations. And guys, that's coming no matter what we say or do here today. Those things are going to have to take place. So we're going to have to work very hard to make sure that works. But let me just tell you, boards in the past and boards in the future will always look to protect the taxpayers' tax dollars and make sure that we don't ask for nothing that we don't need, and we never have. And I will tell you, the time that I've been on the school board, we have never gone over budget on building a school, not one time. I have got a great background in construction. I've been in the business for 26 years, and we have been successful in Bradley County to protect the tax dollars, and that's what we should be about.
All right, Troy, thank you. And now, Sandra Benson, it'll be the same question. I'll repeat it. So how would you prioritize the district's capital needs, such as building, maintenance, and new construction, without placing an undue burden on taxpayers?
Well, the way I see it, the school board is not the only, me individually, would, if I were elected, would not be the one making that decision. We have a lot of great minds in Bradley County. We have people, as Troy said, who have worked with the school board. We have county commission good folks, and even his history that he said, we've done it before. If we have a need, we will meet it. If we need to do assessments, we need to make sure we have a need to begin with, analyze a lot of things, and look at the tax base. Is it affordable? And priority, all these things are considered when you look at building a school, but we need to remain transparent. We need to, first of all, the safety of the students. If you need maintenance, you need maintenance. And my information I'm getting from people, and I've heard, is that the school board rarely goes to the county commission for money. And that's good. That's good to hear. But if we need it, we need to be transparent with the community. We need to go forward and do it and be as fiscally responsible as we can be, and keep the safety of the students and their education as priority.
All right, Sandra, thank you very much. We'll do one more question, then we're going to take our first break. Again, you're listening to Mix 104.1. You're watching us on mixtv.tv, and this is the three candidates for the open seat, Bradley County Board of Education in the 4th District. This time I'm going to begin with Troy Weathers. Troy, in your opinion, out in the 4th District, what are the top needs of your district out there in the 4th?
Well, I believe that probably the top need in the 4th District would be, I've always been a supporter of help in the classrooms. In your classrooms today, you can ask any teacher, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, they can automatically tell you what child is going to have difficulty through middle school and high school. They know that already. And I believe the answer to that is we've got to give help in the classroom. You know, when a teacher has 20, 25 students, it's hard to go and find a Troy and says, hey, he's struggling, he's needing help. Now, we have some help that does that, but I'm just telling you, if you want to make education a new day in Bradley County, that's how we could make a new day for us. Bradley County, we're fortunate in our district. We've got great schools. You know, we talked about maintenance in the earlier question. We've got a great maintenance department, and we take care of our schools. Lots of people will go into school and say, gosh, this looks brand new. Because we've done a good job over the years of making sure that what we have in our schools are good for our students, and it works. And we've got a great environment. I'll never forget one of our board members today, Teddy Bryson, said, I'll never forget the first time I ever went into his school, and he said, I want this school to feel like Disney World. Well, believe it or not, it did, okay? And that's what we do in the 4th District. We've got great schools, we got great administrators, and great teachers. Improvements, we could all, we could get a new playground. We could do a lot of things like that. But really, my focus is in the classroom. We need to help. We need to do what we can to improve our classroom, to give our teachers help, to help our students.
All right. Thank you, Troy. And now, Sandra Benson, the same question, and I'll repeat it. What, in your opinion, what are the top needs in the 4th District?
Well, from knocking on doors and talking to parents and teachers, and I've met some great people with really concerned about the schools, but one thing that keeps coming up is a lot of parents, I knock on doors, do your children go to the public schools here? And a lot of them, not all of their children are enrolled in school. They've withdrawn them to put them in online school or homeschooling or a private school. To me, that points to a problem. I don't know what the problem should be. Identified, the problem should be analyzed, and hopefully solved. And if that's a classroom problem, as Troy said, that's your primary focus, is education. Are they withdrawing their children for various reasons? Do we not have a proper student-teacher ratio? It's problem solving. It's analyzing the situation talking to people, getting more information. And I don't know what that problem is, but certainly if I was on the school board, I'd see it as a problem. And I'd be investigating that. And I'd be asking people why you're withdrawing your children. To me, that's a symptom, maybe not a problem that we have students being withdrawn, but it's a symptom. And what is the diagnosis? Sorry, I come from a medical background, but there is one. And sometimes it takes some digging to find out what it is. So that's the one thing that I saw that kept popping up. I think we have good schools, but we need to make them better.
Thank you, Sandra. Ashlan Morelock, same question. In your opinion, what are the top needs out in the 4th District?
Like Miss Benson, I've been knocking on doors in neighborhoods and meeting friends and neighbors and making new friends that are neighbors. I've had a lot of dogs and played with a lot of kids. And I'm hearing, again, pretty consistently that families want safe schools. They want the basics to be strong, and teachers want to feel supported, and they want communication that's just very clear and respectful. Bradley County is growing, and we need a long-range plan that stays ahead of this growth. Some classrooms are overcrowded, and you can only put so many children in a classroom because of the state mandate. So we really have to, again, I will say it over and over, look at the data surrounding these classroom sizes and building capacities and make sure that we have adequate space for our children in the 4th District. Overall, I think the Bradley County school system is exceptional. My children were in the Bradley County school system. They went to North Lee and had a phenomenal experience there, and I want to continue to improve on what's working and listen to my friends and neighbors and help with what's not. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a break right here, 23 minutes after 8 o'clock. Again, thanks so much listening or watching, and it is our final debate of our election cycle as we get ready for the May 5th election. Thanks again to Lynn Jones, the Lynn Jones Foundation, for sponsoring our debates that we've been doing the past couple of weeks. Don't forget, early voting is underway. Started yesterday. You can vote early today, 9 until 6 weekdays, 9 until 4 on Saturday. If you're watching us, there are the locations right there. And 470 voted early yesterday, and we hope that continues to build. Let's take a quick break right here. I'll tell you what, Bridget, let's get a check. Traffic.
Okay, this Don Ledford Cleveland on-time traffic report is brought to you by Don Ledford in Cleveland. It's the Don Ledford Spring Upgrade Event. Tremendous savings on Chevrolet and GMC trucks and SUVs, plus the best pre-owned inventory. DonLedford.com and North Lee Highway, Cleveland. Crews are working an accident on the interstate as we take a look at the Langley Roofing traffic cameras. It's I-75 southbound between exit 20 and White Oak Mountain, so be aware of that. Has traffic completely blocked at this time, so traffic is not moving at all there. I-75 southbound just past exit 20, so be aware of that. We'll keep you up to date. If you see a traffic problem, give us a call. The volunteer Ridipest Mix line is 423-614-6499. You can also text us at that same number on the Cleveland State Cougar line. This traffic report is brought to you by the Cleveland Family YMCA. The Y is offering a $0 join fee through May 3rd, and then from April 27th through May 1st, they're offering free swim lessons for Safety Around Water Week. Find out more at clevelandtnymca.org. We'll check your Mermaid Mattress Weather Center forecast coming up. This half hour of Mixed Mornings is brought to you by...
Attention shoppers, don't forget to ask our certified butchers for great recipe tips.
This is an authentic butcher shop, where meat is hand-cut in-store, beef is ground fresh daily, and expert advice from a certified butcher is always free of charge.
Free advice? That's what I call value. The quality I crave, the value I count on.
Nobody does food like Food City.
This is your Hardee's 2 for $5 breakfast mix and match along. Get a fluffy sausage egg biscuit, or perhaps biscuit and gravy. Ooh, maybe a sweet cinnamon roll. For a limited time, mix and match any 2 for just $5 at Hardee's.
I'm Clark Campbell. I've lived here in Cleveland, Tennessee for 24 years, and I'm so proud that I get to shop for my business to get my truck right here in my town. One of the most intimidating things in the truck buying process is you just don't want to talk to people sometimes. Don Ledford Chevrolet just isn't that place. And that's my favorite thing about this property is you just feel like a friend. There are a lot of options when it comes to dealerships in Cleveland and the Chattanooga area. This is going to be the first place I go to every single time.
Competence, integrity, experience. Those are what Logan Thompson's all about.
We're basically a one-stop shop.
Each of us work in a special area of the law.
And it is true that experience counts.
We've been doing this for a long time. It's fun, and you're helping people.
We give back to the community.
A tradition of legal and community service.
We want to keep the ball moving and we want to treat you with respect.
At the end of the day, you're walking away with peace of mind.
Make them feel welcome, make them feel heard. And so our goal is to show them a path forward, giving them hope.
Download the all-new Mix 104.1 app online at mymix1041.com.
Every 5 to
on mixtv.tv. Hey, it's our final debate of our May 5th election cycle. It is for the 4th District, the Bradley County Board of Education. It is an open seat. We have 3 candidates in this race, and they're with us this morning. I'm going to begin with Sandra Benson on this question. And Sandra, the question is to be the same question for all 3 of you. What, in your opinion, what boundaries do you believe are important when interacting with teachers, if you're elected to the school board, to interacting with teachers and school staff, and how would you handle concerns brought to you directly by employees of the school system? And I'll turn it over to you.
Well, my first technique for dealing with problems is listening. You have to gather data and information. So I've actually done that with knocking on doors and with other situations I've encountered as a teacher. And that's what teachers want. They want to be listened to. They want to be taken seriously. And certainly you gather the data. And whoever's involved, you get as much objective data as you can. Everybody has their viewpoint, and you just do with any situation that you're dealing with a problem, you have to gather the information, you have to analyze it, you have to look at solutions and pursue those solutions. And if that doesn't work, then you go back to square one and reanalyze. You know, you talk to people because you're dealing with people. And human beings are they're not machines. They have feelings, they get emotionally involved, and you got to address those issues too, and make sure that you keep an objective viewpoint. And you got to talk to, like I said, people involved, not just one individual. You talk to people who are aware of the situation, and you make sure you gather information accurately and address a problem appropriately. I think you have to give people respect. Whoever's involved, you show respect. And part of that is listening. You can assess a lot of things. And as a nurse, I listen to people, and not just what they say, what their behavior is. Nonverbals go a long way towards analyzing a situation. And you're dealing with people.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Sandra. Ashlan Morelock, I'm going to repeat the question. What boundaries do you believe are important when interacting with teachers and school staff? And how would you handle concerns brought to you directly by employees if you are elected to this position?
I think that's a great question. I talk to my children about boundaries often. I'm so sorry. I didn't pull my mic up.
Okay, you're all right.
I'll start over. I think that's a great question. I speak with my children about boundaries often because we do have to draw those lines. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not planning on inserting myself into a classroom teacher's day-to-day agenda. I want to listen to teachers, and I have. There have been many people that have reached out to me to get to know me during this campaign process, and and I have been listening, and I've been asking questions. I want to gather as much information as I possibly can. So I'm happy to speak with anyone that wants to talk to me, but I am not going to insert myself where I am not needed. I plan on being a good school board member that does a lot of listening and asking good questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashlan. All right, Troy Weathers, I'm going to repeat the question here for you. Again, what boundaries do you believe are important when interacting with teachers and school staff, and how would you handle concerns brought to you directly by employees?
Well, Steve, we have rules and regulations on what we can do and what we can't do. So let me tell you what that is. As a school board member, we only hire one person, and that's the director of schools. We have no authority over any employee. Now, if we go down the road and we have an issue, and you know, we talked about going into a classroom. You don't got to go in a classroom. You got to go see teachers where teachers are at. Okay, for instance, PTO meetings, awards programs, and teachers will find you if they know you're willing to listen. Your responsibility then, Steve, is you speak to the director of schools. The director of schools works for the Board of Education. And when we hear an issue out there that something's going on, our first responsibility is to inform the director of schools so he or she will have the opportunity to address that before it blows into something big that you can't fix. Okay? But our responsibility is we have to be very careful what we do. And let me explain another reason why. In any case that we have in the school, if we have a major issue, which we have one going on now, it's not one of those things that, you know, we talk about transparency. Transparency, you have to be very careful as a board member because of the fact that you can't talk about stuff out in the public. Because if something comes back to you as a board, the board becomes the jury and the judge. So if we biased ourselves with issues, we have to be very careful. So as a board member, we don't hide things from people, but some things we can't go out here and talk about because of the fact that it may come back to us from the director of schools that we have to make a decision, that we have to make one and make sure that we make a good decision and not excuse ourselves from being able to do it because we know or we've talked in a situation we shouldn't have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Troy. We're going to begin this time with Ashlan Morelock. And Ashlan, I want to go to this question. In your opinion, should the Bradley County school system and the Cleveland City school systems coordinate where new schools are built to reduce overlap in certain areas, or should each system make those decisions independently? And you've got 2 minutes.
Thanks. That's a great question. We do have two school systems in Cleveland. We have the Bradley County school system and the Cleveland City school system. And I think currently they are working well together. I think both directors of schools, Dr. Cash and Dr. Elliott, have an open line of communication, and they do work well together. I think that it is important to talk with both school systems and both systems to collaborate about the needs in our town. There's so much, again, we're talking about growth. There's so much growth and development happening in Bradley County, and I think it's important to have that open line of communication between both school systems, both boards, to determine what the needs are and how best to serve students.
All right, Troy, we're going to come back over to you again. The question, should the city and county systems coordinate where new schools are built to reduce overlap in certain areas, or should each system make those decisions independently?
Well, the right answer, if you want to hear a right answer, is yes, we should coordinate and we should work together and make all things better. Unfortunately, you have 14 different personalities, and you have two separate school systems. As you know, there's an issue now with some property that the county bought on Dry Valley Road. At the city saying that, well, no, they can't build there. So, and let me explain. Number one, it's very hard to find property large enough that, number one, the school system or the county, the taxpayers of Bradley County can afford and be able to put a school where the population's moving to or they're there already. So we've always tried to work with the city schools. They're our friends. But when it comes, a lot of times when it comes to some decisions, you've got to do what you have to do in order to fulfill what you need to do with Bradley County Schools and our students and our teachers. So it sounds good that we'll hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but sometimes you have to make tough decisions. Being on a school board is not one of those places where we all can feel comfortable and feel good about who we are or what we are. We have to make tough decisions, and a lot of times the decisions are decisions that people don't necessarily agree with you, or where you're going to put a new school, or you're going to build a new school, or whatever. But school board members have a unique ability because of the fact that number one, we're involved, and we know all the inner workings of how we got there. And again, you can talk to Johnny Mull, our friend in Bradley County Schools. Just finding property is very difficult. That you're where you're able to build. So, yes, we want to work with Cleveland City Schools, but as Bradley County Schools, we have to make sure we're taking care of Bradley County Schools because that's who elected us. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. All right, Sandra Benson, same question. I'll repeat the question. Should the county and city school systems coordinate where new schools are built to reduce overlap in certain areas, or should each system make those decisions independently?
I think that's a complex question, and I think it sounds like boundaries come into play here, because if I'm elected, the citizens in my district have elected me, and there's different tax bases with the city and the county, and I think with those decisions, people should be involved, the county commission should be involved, and we have a constituency to consider too, and how's that going to affect their lives. And they are going to have, with different boundaries, different zonings, different districts, and you need to respect the boundaries of the county and the city, because they are two different entities, and look at how it's affecting the citizens. That's my first thoughts on that, and that's about all I could say about it.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to begin with Troy Weathers this time, and Troy, I want to talk about your approach, and this will be the same question again for all three of you, but your approach to vetting and selecting instructional materials, specifically regarding sensitive or controversial content, and you have 2 minutes.
Well, Steve, that's a very good question. And we've had that controversy over the years that I've been on the school board. And where I fall in is I'm the only candidate that has students, family. I got grandsons in Bradley County Schools. I went through Bradley County Schools. My daughter went through Bradley County Schools completely. And this is a very important issue to me personally because it affects my grandkids, and not just my grandkids, but all the kids. And we talked about the 4th District. They're near and dear to my heart. I know most of those kids out there, okay? So how do we vet that? We have a committee. Bradley County Schools has a committee that we're talking about books and all those things that are just unbelievable what they'll put out there. It is always the books are vetted through a committee, and if we have an issue with that, and trust me, sometimes books slip through. I don't know how, but we as board members don't do that. We're not the vendors, okay? We don't vent it. However, there's things that slip through. If that's the case, then we immediately address it. Now, let me just say that we have got some of the best librarians that you could ever ask for. Trust me, they're working every single day to make sure your students, my grandsons, are not being exposed to anything that's not age appropriate, okay? That we wish they'd have never seen. So we're very conservative, okay? Bradley County is a very conservative county. Trust me, our school system is a very conservative organization, and we're going to make sure that our kids are protected. That's the number one goal when in vetting anything that appears or is part of our school system. So we have a system in place that protects that, and I can't think of any time in the past that we've had an issue. Thank you.
All right, Joy, thank you. I want to go to Sandra Benson. I'll repeat the question. If you're elected, what would your approach be to vetting and selecting instructional materials, specifically regarding sensitive or controversial content?
I think, again, you go back to listening to your constituency, and when things are offensive to people, it's a very sensitive situation, and you're dealing with parents and you're dealing with their moral standards, and I do have a pretty strict moral standard about certain things, and I would hold to that standard if I were involved in vetting materials. I would certainly take that very seriously.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right, Ashlan Morelock, again, the same question for you. Your approach to vetting and selecting instructional materials, specifically regarding sensitive or controversial content.
I think this is a great question. I have an avid reader in my family. My son he started reading at 4, which is wild. I think that was sooner than I started reading at kindergarten at Mayfield Elementary. But my son is an avid reader, and I have to agree with a few things that both of my opponents said. You have to put trust in the committees that are formed that select these sensitive materials and these books. So you have to put trust in your librarians at your elementary schools. And like Ms. Benson said, we have to listen to our parents and our teachers. We can have conversations surrounding this all day long. I'm happy to do that. But at the end of the day, we have to trust the people that are hired to make these decisions. If something were to come about that was sensitive or inappropriate, I would love for any parent, teacher, librarian to come to me and let's have that discussion, and let's work really hard to figure out how this came to be, how this sensitive material came to be in the schools, and let's replace it with something more appropriate. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. We're going to take another break right here. Again, you are listening to Mix 104.1. You're watching us on mixtv.tv. This is our final in-studio debate, as we really appreciate, I tell you, I appreciate all 57 candidates and their families. Anyone who offers themselves for public service deserves our commendation, and we thank you all for doing it. All right, so we're going to take a quick break right here. We're going to come back. We have some more questions for the candidates. This is the Bradley County Board of Education, 4th District. It is an open seat. Early voting continues today. I cannot stress enough how important it is to exercise our right to vote. As we say, people died for our right to vote. And so, again, you can vote early. It's very convenient for voting in Bradley County and around the volunteer state, where early voting started yesterday. 4 locations. Today, 9 to 6. We had 470 vote yesterday, and so we hope that will build today. Election Day is May 5th, and we'll be live at the Bradley County Courthouse. We're going back to the courthouse this year. We're going to have quite an atmosphere as I understand Main Street Cleveland, the downtown business organization, going to kick off America 250, our local celebration, that night, and we can't wait for it. So, looking forward to it. Len Jones Foundation, thanks so much. We're going to come right back with more in just a moment. Stand by, everybody. Not all composite decking is...
Welcome to Mountain View Nissan Country, where automotive excellence is our top priority. At Mountain View Nissan, we take pride in offering you the finest selection of vehicles, perfectly suited for your adventurous spirit. From powerful SUVs ready to conquer any terrain to your everyday gas-friendly commuters, we have the perfect vehicle to match your lifestyle. This is Mountain View Nissan Country, where automotive dreams become reality. Visit one of our 3 locations in Dalton, Chattanooga, and Cleveland today, and let us take your driving experience to new peaks.
You're watching Mix Mornings on Mix TV. Here is your current Kia of Cleveland time, and your current temperature in Cleveland is brought to you by Milligan Vane. Here, this Don Ledford Cleveland on-time traffic report is brought to you by Don Ledford in Cleveland. It's the Don Ledford Spring Upgrade Event. Tremendous savings on Chevrolet and GMC trucks and SUVs, plus the best pre-owned inventory. DonLedford.com and North Lee Highway, Cleveland. As we take a look at the Langley Roofing and traffic cameras, crews are working that accident on the interstate that we mentioned earlier, I-75 southbound, just past exit 20, and before you get to White Oak Mountain, it's going to be around the 18-mile marker. It is blocking the right lane, but traffic is moving through slowly there in the left lane, so it's causing major delays this morning on the interstate. So if you're headed southbound I-75, be aware of that around exit 20, and we'll keep you up to date on that. As always, if you see a traffic problem, give us a call. The volunteer Ridipest Mix line is 423-614-6499. You can also text us at that same number on the Cleveland State Cougar line.
This traffic report is brought to you by Builtwell Bank.
Whether it's purchasing your first home, building your business, or planning for tomorrow, our team is here, right where you live, work, and play. Stop by.
Cleveland Tire is ready to help your auto any way it can. We're one of the largest providers of Goodyear brand tires in the area. We sell all major brand tires. We have ASE certified mechanics on staff 6 days a week. We also have a commercial truck tire center that provides 24-hour roadside service and minor mechanical repairs on site. We have built our reputation on years of quality, affordable work, and tires. We pride ourselves in customer satisfaction and great service. Cleveland Tire Center.
The new fiber network is going to place Cleveland, Tennessee at the forefront of technology. Cleveland is ready for this, and it's going to be a great future. My message to Cleveland, Tennessee is call Cleveland Utility Authority right now to get signed up for the new fiber broadband network that is coming to a neighborhood near you.
Do you know when to stop for a stopped school bus? If the bus is stopped with its red lights flashing on a 2-lane road, cars traveling in either direction must stop. Stop for the bus and keep our kids safe.
We are professional grade. The sale price is on stock number 260036 with an MSRP of $46,650 and includes all qualifying rebates. It is plus tax, tag, and title and dealer fee of $649. You must take delivery by April 30th, 2026.
Welcome back to Mix 1041, MixTV.tv. Hey, Mix Mornings is presented by Bradley Medical Center as we welcome you back. Our final debate, getting ready for the May 5th election. The 4th District Bradley County Board of Education is in the spotlight. It is an open seat. And we're going to begin this question with Sandra Benson. And again, I really appreciate our candidates joining us here today. So, Sandra, I'll start with you and we'll work our way through again. How will you ensure, if you're elected, that your decisions remain transparent, ethical, and in the best interest of all students, especially when facing pressure from constituents, staff, or your personal beliefs?
Well, I'm aware that school boards are open to the public, and I think most people could find out the minutes if they wanted to. So I think it's probably not too difficult to remain transparent. I would certainly be very open to sharing my stance on any issue that would come up, and I would be happy to talk to constituents, talk to parents, talk to administration about my stance on any issue. So I would be upfront with that and be happy to discuss issues. I don't have a problem with transparency. I may not be in agreement with some people, but I plan to stand on what my decision would be, and people may agree with it or not, but I would be open about it. I certainly plan to remain open if I would be elected about any decision I would be faced with.
Thank you so much. All right, Ashlan Morelock, same question. How, if you're elected, how would you ensure your decisions remain transparent, ethical, and in the best interests of all students, especially when facing pressure from constituents, staff, or personal beliefs?
That is another very good question, Steve. I have consistently worked and volunteered in community-focused roles in Bradley County my entire adult life. I've worked with many different nonprofits. Specifically, I worked at United Way of the Ocoee region. And in a job like that, I was in the development department. In a job like that, you have to be very sensitive with materials coming in and out of that organization because you are dealing with donor dollars and donor data. So I have worked in a field where I have experience with being transparent, yes, but also being very sensitive to the fact that there are certain materials that you cannot speak about, and there are, and you have to be a good steward of those donor dollars, which translates to the school system of our taxpayer dollars. So I would say that I have a history of transparency with inclusion. Thank you.
All right. Troy Weathers, same question. I'll repeat it. If you're elected, how would you ensure that your decisions remain transparent, ethical, in the best interests of all students, especially when facing pressure from constituents, staff, or personal beliefs?
Well, Steve, I believe that anybody running for office, most of us, when it comes down to making tough decisions, we have to make them because of the fact I said earlier, referred to earlier, that we know we're involved in it on a daily basis. And we're going to do what's right in most cases. But let me tell you what, there's a couple of areas that are, we talked about transparency. And the ladies have mentioned a couple of things about our security, safety. Well, by law, as you may or may not know, if we meet with our safety director each year, and we pause the meeting and go back to the back room and let in a conference room and let that gentleman or lady speak to us about the safety of Bradley County Schools and what we are doing and doing it to protect our students. Now we do that. Someone said, well, why do you do that? Well, we do that because we protect the security of someone out here in the public not knowing all the things we've got available to us and that we've done to try to protect our students. We have spent millions of dollars to make sure they're protected. Millions here in Bradley County. So feel comfortable when you send your child to Bradley County Schools. We're doing everything in our power to make sure that they're safe. Now, transparency. So we'll go back to transparency. Transparency in today's society is there constantly. We are videoed every meeting we have, okay? And it's a recording. It stays there forever. Matter of fact, we had one last night. Somebody posted one where I talked about us being about private business, looking at schools that way. Well, let me tell you something. What I implied there in that video, which now it's records and people trying to use against me, is we have to, and I'll get it in the next answer. So I'll address it in my closing. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We do have really just a couple more questions here, and then the closing statements. And we're going to begin this question with Ashlan Morelock here. Ashlan, what are we not talking about? What are we missing? And I don't mean just in this forum this morning, this debate, but what's not being talked about enough? What's out there? Maybe you see down the line, maybe over the next 5 years, something like that we're not, as a community, and especially in Bradley County schools, not talking about enough, in your opinion.
Question as a question where I can talk about anything I want to talk about. Because that was not a very clear question, Mr. Hartline. What I will say is that I believe in high standards and strong academics, and I also believe that every student deserves a real pathway to success, and that includes career and technical options. I think that the career and technical options have been talked about, but I think we need to continue having that conversation because not college-bound around does not mean less capable. I think we should value our trades while keeping our expectations very high. And the more students that graduate with a credential or a skill and a clear next step, that's an asset to the Bradley County school system and our community as a whole. It is not a budget drain. So I will continue to talk about and support career and technical options for students in the Bradley County school system.
All right, Troy Weathers, what, in your opinion, what's not being talked about enough on the campaign trail during this election? What would you like to spotlight?
Well, I guess vocational is obviously one of my pet peeves. I went through vocational at Bradley Central High School, and I also was the chairman of the school board in the process of the Pie Center, which is making a huge difference in our community. We're bringing industry in here because that we made the bold decision to start the Pie Center with the help of our county commissioners and other folks. But going back to the question, something I was going to speak about is I've always looked at Bradley County schools. We're not, I know we're public education. Public education doesn't mean that we take money that the taxpayers give us and we just throw it in which way we want to. When I refer to it's a business, is the day we look at our school system as a business, that we have a responsibility and we're accountable to the taxpayers of Bradley County, things change. And we have been doing that with Bradley County schools. We know where the money comes from, we manage it well, and we make sure that the end product is our students. Everything is focused there where our students can be successful. And I'm going to give you an example with the Pie Center. Wright Brothers, they're a big part of our Pie Center. We have students that participate in their training program that they leave high school and they make $35, $45 an hour, 18-year-old students. So we're doing exactly, one of my goals when I first came on the board 25 years ago was I want to make sure that we get jobs for our students that we wish we'd have had when we were 18 years old. I don't want a job that they make minimum wage. I want to make sure our students are prepared to make good money where I'm selfish. I want my grandsons to stay in Bradley County. I want them to make a good living, and I want my grandkids and great-grandkids to be here with me. So I think it's critical. Thank you.
All right, and Sandra Benson, we'll ask you the same question. What, in your opinion, what are we not covering enough? What are we not hearing enough about?
Well, I'm a proponent of vocational education. I've been involved in it, but I think that has been talked about. One thing that I haven't heard, but I've read about, and I've completed a survey recently, that people are concerned about decreasing literacy rates. That's a major challenge. Also, what I'm reading is that students spend too much time on the screen and not enough time actually reading books. And I think there's something to education with the student-teacher interaction, not just the computer screen. And there was a big move to technology, No Child Left Behind, get them on the computers. We've done a good job with that. But there's something wrong with the literacy rates falling. And we need a balance between that. Technology, they need technology. They need to be prepared to take on these technical jobs. But we need to achieve a balance with that because that's a real concern, and I haven't heard anything about that. And I've read a lot of research recently that we need to get back to the basics of reading, writing, and math. And if computers are helping us do that, by all means use them. But if we're not, again, I get back to the withdrawing students from the schools. What is the problem that we need to look at with that, as well as what's happening to our students with their decreasing reading skills? And that's a real thing. It should be analyzed in Bradley County. We may or may not have a problem with our students, but like I said, we do have a withdrawal rate, and that's not being talked about.
All right. Well, thank you all. I've got one more question, and then we'll have our closing statements. Again, I can't thank these folks enough for coming in and also offering themselves for public service. We're going to talk about the budget, okay? And we're going to talk about, and Troy, I want to begin with you. We're going to talk about, the question is budget priorities and overall budget priorities. But here's a question for you. How would you balance the critical human capital needs like staff and the massive physical capital needs, such as new buildings, what should take priority there? And then if I could get something about just your overall budget priorities. Over to you.
Well, Steve, I've dealt with the budget for 20 years, and the priority will always have to be personnel. Okay? I'm a firm believer that if you hire great people, you will have great results. So priority always in our budget, in the Bradley County School Board's budget, is always about a personnel. We're looking at 85% or 90% of ours is budget issue. The budget is personnel. The rest of it is maintenance and all these other things. We really, in our budget, we do not have the funds to go build a new school. That is something that we go to the county commission to ask for to fund that. So the Bradley County School Board's priority should always be, how do we take care of our teachers? And let me tell you, it's been proven over and over, when you have great teachers, you have great results in that classroom. And that means our students benefit. And that'll always be the case no matter what we do. And we've worked very hard the last 25 years to make sure that we hire the right folks in the right places for our students. So I think it's critical that we constantly, and we evaluate. But the budget is one of those things. And so we'll go back to the budget for a moment. What's one of my priorities? I still believe that we need more help in elementary. That I think when we solve problems in elementary, not in middle school and high school. And if we ever could get there, which again costs money, and we're not going to ask for money that we can't justify, that would be an extra. Okay, but I'm telling you, that's what would make a difference in the long run with our students, is extra help in elementary, that they get, that these kids that are struggling. And it may, sometimes we say those kids, it may be my kid. Okay, I sure would appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Troy, thank you. I'm going to go to Sandra Benson, same question. And Sandra, first of all, and this is the same question, but your overall budget priorities, as you see it, if you're elected, and then balancing your personal feelings about human capital needs, so staff, and then also massive physical capital needs like building new buildings. Where's your priority there? And it's over to you.
Well, there's a limitation with our resources, and we need to use them wisely in our decisions. We need to look at safety, priority, the students' safety, as far as maintenance of the buildings and grounds. And I agree with Troy. Education is our objective. We can't lose sight of that. That's the most important measuring stick, and we need to recruit and retain qualified teachers. And that's what we're about, is educating our students. That's the most important thing, and that's the thing we cannot lose sight of with managing the budget. And it's important to get your best options when you're getting contracts to build a new school building or do maintenance or do renovation. You have to look at the reputation of the builders. I think you need to investigate what's their record, what's their track record. That's how you use your money to profit the county the most, is to get the best options. And just like you need to look at your teachers, what's their reputation when you hire them, what's their track record, what's the track record of the builders. Be smart with our decisions overall, and that's the important thing.
All right, thank you, Sandra Benson. Now, Ashlan Morelock, again, same question, just your overall budget priority and philosophy if you're elected, and then balancing the staff needs as far as the budget is concerned with new buildings and building new buildings.
Maintaining a balanced budget is a very important part of the job of being a school board member on any school board. But in order to do that, I think we always have to put students first. In all of our decision making, students should be at the forefront of our minds. And I agree with my opponents that in order to do that, personnel is very important, and I do agree with my opponent that the foundation is elementary school. That's what I preached to the rooftops when I was PTO president, is that we've got to really take care of our elementary school children and make sure and understand that that is the foundation. Like, we can, high school and middle school is so important, but we've got to build these children in their early primary years to get them to that graduation rate. And with that, I agree that personnel is very important. Now, in Bradley County, 60 cents on every taxpayer dollar goes towards public education, and we have to be good stewards of that. But in order to be being good stewards of the taxpayer dollars, we have to keep the students at the forefront of our minds, and we always have to put them first.
All right, we have come to the end. Thank you very much, all three of you, for coming in and also, as I said earlier, offering yourselves for public service. It's a big, big deal. Okay, we are going to do closing statements now. No one trusts Bridget, and so you had them draw.
I did.
Okay, was
Yes.
it done above board?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Of course.
Maybe not. Okay, this is where I'm gone. I'm out of this. All right. Well, they did draw. Troy Weathers, you're going to give the first closing statement. Then we'll have Ashlan Morelock, and then we'll have Sandra Benson. Troy, over to you.
Well, let me first say thank you, voters of the 4th District, for giving me the opportunity to serve you as your board member for 20 years. I have worked very hard, dedicated to education for the students of the 4th District. We have a new school in the 4th District that most districts can't say that. Waterville was a replacement. And I'm very thankful for that. And I'm thankful for all the support that I have received over the years. You will find out that campaigns gets very dirty. People say things that are not true, stretch the truth, stretch a lie, whatever they want to use. I want to tell you, you know who I am, you know what I am, you know I work hard. You can talk to families in the 4th District, your neighbors. They'll tell you that I was at a PTO meeting, I was at graduation, I was at everything in my district you could absolutely be at. Because of fact, not because I wanted to be seen, it's because I love what I was doing. I love serving Bradley County, 4th District, because of fact, that's where I live, that's where I worship, that's where my heart is. I want to take a pause for a moment and tell I just lost my thought. I'll head on down the road. But I will say thank you. Early voting starting. I'd appreciate your vote. It's going to be a very close race. The ladies are great ladies. I hope you think about the experience I have, the ability to come in tomorrow morning, the first day in September, and go to work for Bradley County Schools and go to work for the 4th District. I always worked for you. I always served you, and I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for my daughter. She's a teacher in the school system. I got 2 grandsons in the school system. So I have a vested interest of doing what's right every day that I serve you. Thank you, and I'd appreciate your vote.
All right, thank you, Troy Weathers. And now we go to Ashlan Morelock for your closing statement.
Thanks, Steve and Bridget. Thanks again for hosting this debate, and thanks to everyone who stayed tuned in and listened. I think it's 9:10 right now. We've been going about an hour. That's a long time to listen. So I appreciate everyone that has today. This race isn't about big promises. It's about the kind of leader that you want making decisions for your schools. I'm running to bring steady, practical leadership to the board. I want to support teachers. I want to communicate clearly with parents. I want to plan responsibly, and I want to work with the county commission to be a good steward of our taxpayer dollars. I will continue to listen to my friends and neighbors in the 4th District, and as I've demonstrated throughout this campaign, I will always be accessible to you. Early voting started yesterday. You mentioned earlier 400 and some odd people voted, 470 voted, 63 people voted in District 4 yesterday on April 15th. Early voting runs through April 30th, and Election Day is May 5th, and I can't stress enough how important it is for every registered voter to get out there and vote. The the Bradley County School Board open seat is up for election. That's what we're discussing today, along with 2 county commission seats in the 4th District as well. So I really encourage my friends in the 4th to get out and vote, and I would truly appreciate your vote, and I would be honored to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashlan Morelock. We appreciate it. And now our final closing statement from Sandra Benson. Sandra?
Thank you, Steve. My entire life has been one of service and productive work. My work record speaks for itself. I served 4 years in the United States Air Force Nurse Corps, taught in public schools. I'm capable of problem solving and working with others to make wise decisions for our students. They are the future. We must not fail them. If the voters of my district trust me with this responsibility, and it is a responsibility, I will serve with integrity, continue to keep an open mind, listen to issues presented by parents, administration, and teachers. Thank you for your time, and God bless you. Pray for peace in the Middle East and the safety of our troops. Thank you.
I think we can all agree with that. Thank you very much to all 3 of you, and thank you so much for watching. And hello to Bradley Central High School. They are watching right now, we understand, in Gwen Schroyer's class. Mr. Schroyer, thank you very much. Hey, guys, and I understand you're going to be having a discussion about what you've just heard. And, of course, this seat directly impacts Bradley Central High School, obviously. So, thank you very much. That's our final debate that we've been doing for May 5th. And as the candidates have said, and I cannot agree with them more, voting is so important. Get out there and vote. You know, I heard this said a couple weeks ago, maybe last week even, that these races here impact us locally more than the national races, okay? And we've seen a turnout that's upside down from that, quite frankly. And it doesn't make any sense to me. So here's the deal. Get out and vote, okay? You've got till April 30th, Monday through. Hey, Fruit, will you put that back up for me? There we go. So through April 30th, early voting. Today you can go vote till 6 o'clock tonight. Early voting opened 12 minutes ago. Saturday 9 to 4. And here are your locations. If you're watching us on mixtv.tv, you see them there. If you're listening on Mix 1041, OCI, that's the Perry Stone Ministry. Omega Center out by the Y on Urbane Road. Bradley County Election Commission downtown. The Northeast Recreation Center on Berry Street. And the Bradley County Fire and Rescue Training Center, the old Waterville School, on Dalton Pike. And again, Election Day, May 5th, we'll be live with our election night coverage. Back down at the courthouse, going to be a big time. Have food trucks, have a big celebration that night. Why? Because we celebrate freedom. We celebrate the freedom to vote. We celebrate our great nation and America 250. So there you go. Again, thanks to everybody who's running. God bless you. God bless your families. It's a total commitment, isn't it? And we appreciate it so very much. All right. That is it for us here this morning. I do believe we've got another guest coming in, so we'll do that in a second. Chick-fil-A. You're going to get excited about that. So we're going to take a break here. I know. Maybe they brought some for us and the candidates. I think that'd be very appropriate. Lynn Jones. Thank you, buddy. My buddy Lynn Jones. Lynn does so much for children especially, and so much that people don't even know about that helps people. God bless you, Lynn. Thank you, buddy. Lynn Jones Foundation. We'll come back. We got more in a moment.
Okay. Ran this play 100 times in practice. Maddie, be ready to knock it down, okay?
Yeah, we got it, guys. Come on. Let's take it the last shot.
Hang on, let me get this text real quick.
Yeah. Is he seriously texting right now?
You hit me straight in the face, bro.
Turner, are you really on your phone?
If texting here is madness, it's even deadlier behind the wheel.
Are you seriously on your phone?
Eyes up, phone down, Tennessee.
Hardee's Barbecue Pulled Pork Frisco Burger is back and just $5.99 in the app. Got that appetite